Welcome to the news on Enyimba TV. We are reaching you from the commercial city of Abia. First, the headlines. Police inspector, 3 civilians, 2 gunmen die in an attack on police in Abia. Federal government's Agribusiness Institute set to commence in Abia State September 2024. President Tinubu says ECOWAS will continue to dialogue with Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger Republic to maintain unity. Thanks for joining us on the news at this time. I am Mary Ihejirika. Now the news in details. No fewer than 6 persons have died in Abia, the commercial hub of Abia State, following an attack on a police patrol team by some unknown gunmen. Unconfirmed information from eyewitnesses at the scene of the incident at Ongwa Road by Mosque Street, Abia, claimed that about 2 police officers were killed, but official statement from Abia State Police Command proved otherwise. According to ASP Maureen Chinaka, Abia Police Public Relations Officer (PPRO), a police officer identified as Inspector Shehu Oyibo was killed by the gunmen during the attack. Chinaka also confirmed that 3 civilians identified as Chika Godlivet, a male, Chinaturuchi Jonah, a male who was 32 years old from Item, Abia State, and Inyobong Gosgift Clement, a female who was 80 years old from Akwa Ibom State, were killed by bullets from the assailant. Abia Police Command (PPRO) equally confirmed that during the exchange of gunfire, 2 of the assailants were neutralized, while others escaped with various degrees of bullet injuries. President Bola Tinubu says ECOWAS will continue to dialogue with Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger Republic to maintain unity and will convene a special extraordinary summit on the future of the community. The chairman of ECOWAS, Authority of Heads of State and Government, made the statement in Accra, Ghana, as he addressed African leaders on the status of ECOWAS, highlighting the progress so far made by the West African Economic Bloc and the prevailing challenges, presenting the achievement of ECOWAS in the past 1 year at the 6th Media Coordinating Meeting of the African Union. President Tinubu said the community has activated a standby force to counter terrorism and will continue to explore funding options. President Bola Tinubu has charged service chiefs to work together in synergy in fighting insecurity across the country. The president gave this charge at a meeting with the service chiefs at the presidential villa. Briefing newsmen after the meeting, the Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Igbetokun, who made this disclosure, also said that crime has been on decline in the country in recent times. Chief of Defense Staff CDS General Christopher Musa, who also spoke to newsmen after the meeting with the president, assured that the military would ensure the realization of the production of the 2 million barrels per day production target of crude oil in the Niger Delta. Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, has accused supporters of Peter Obi, the Labour Party LP presidential candidate in the 2023 election, of plotting to unseat President Bola Tinubu under the guise of protests. Mr. Onanuga made the allegation in a statement posted on his verified X handle. According to him, the protest planners were also the same people who instigated the destructive EndSARS protest in Nigeria in October 2020, which was hijacked by IPOB. He also alleged that 2 years after the hashtag EndSARS, the IPOB and those he described as gullible innocents joined the Labour Party in 2022 to support Obi. Enyimba TV gathers that he did not, however, provide any evidence to substantiate his allegations. Meanwhile, Labour Party LP has distanced itself and its presidential candidate in the 2023 presidential election, Mr. Peter Obi, from bad governance and Tinubu must go protests being planned nationwide against President Bola Tinubu's administration. The party, in a statement by its National Publicity Secretary, Obiora Ifo, said there was no truth in Onanuga's allegation, describing the allegation as a figment of his imagination. The opposition party said while its supporters are not organizing any nationwide demonstration, protest is the right of every citizen. Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority (NMDPRA) says the quality of petroleum products from the Dangote refinery as well as those from Watersmith, Aradel and other modular refineries are inferior compared to imported ones. Chief Executive Officer of NMDPRA, Farouk Ahmed, disclosed this in a recent interview with journalists. The regulator boss also discarded report that some elements within the oil and gas sector were trying to scuttle the Dangote refinery. According to him, the 650,000 barrel per day refinery has not been issued an operational license, while stating that the refinery is still in the pre-commissioning stage with about 45% completed. Meanwhile, President of Dangote Industries Limited, DIL, Aliko Dangote, has dismissed allegations from the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Agency, NMDPRA, stating that the company's diesel is 80% better than the imports currently entering the country. Africa's richest man made his known while giving members of the House of Representatives a tour of his company's facilities, where he openly challenged the regulator to compare the quality of refined products from his refinery with those imported. He also disclosed that he paid $100 million to the Lagos state government to acquire the land on which Dangote refinery was built, contrary to the belief that it was offered to him free as an incentive. In a related development, federal government through the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority is expecting fresh report to confirm the real sulfur content of the diesel produced by the Dangote refinery. The NMDPRA spokesman George Ene-Eta in an interview said the agency has done its job and would not engage in a media fight with anybody over the claims made by the NMDPRA chief executive that Dangote's diesel has more sulfur content than imported one. According to Ene-Eta, the authority has about 15 engineers and scientists embedded in the Dangote refinery, whose fresh report about the refinery's sulfur content will be out today, being Monday. National Agricultural Land Development Authority, NALDA, is calling for ensured continuity and sustenance of agricultural initiatives for the growth of the agriculture sector and achieving food security. The Executive Secretary of NALDA, Prince Paul Ikone, stated this while reeling out the achievements of the authority in the last 4 years at a media briefing in Abuja. Speaking on the establishment of NALDA Agricultural Empowerment Centers in Osun, Nasarawa, Katsina, and Cross River states, Ikone said the centers were developed to train youths in agricultural activities. He also disclosed that NALDA established goat farms in Kebbi and Yobe states, which has empowered the beneficiaries and breeding goats for the Nigerian markets.
4 years into my tenure of 5 years, we can boast of having an agency of government that has done well. Has done well in the area of crop production, animal husbandry, and poultry, even in the area of empowering the youth on capacity building. We came up with initiatives that requires urgent attention, which will help the country for us to achieve our mandate, which is food security. Initiative like having integrated farm estates, having an empowerment centers where youth can go in and be trained on crop production, animal husbandry, and agribusiness.
A senior advocate of Nigeria, Afam Osigwe, has emerged as the president-elect of the Nigerian Bar Association, NBA, following the 2024 NBA election held online. He will succeed the outgoing president, Yakubu Maikua San. Mr. Osigwe, a former General Secretary of the NBA between 2014 and 2016, polled 20,435 votes, more than half of the total ballot cast for the presidential position, to defeat his two rivals. Mr. Osigwe, whose legal career has spanned 25 years from when he was called to bar in 1999, is set to take over as the 32nd NBA president when the outgoing president Yakubu Maikuya completes his 2-year tenure in August. As reactions continue to trail the last Thursday's violence at the Benin airport, which resulted in the death of a police inspector, the Edo State government and the reinstated Deputy Governor Philip Shaibu are at each other's throats over who masterminded the crisis. The state government, in its petition to the Inspector General of Police, accused Philip Shaibu of orchestrating the crisis along with some APC chieftains. Edo State government's petition, signed by the State Solicitor General, Professor Faith Osadolo, on behalf of the State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, urged the Inspector General of Police to investigate the incident by inviting Shaibu and his supporters. Reacting to the development, Shaibu, who spoke at a special Thanksgiving service, accused the Edo State Security Network (ESSN) and the State Public Works volunteers of being responsible for the invasion of the airport, killing the police officer and shooting of several other persons. Meanwhile, Edo State Police Command has vowed to declare persons it invited over the killing of a police officer in Benin City last week wanted if they do not show up, while the Commissioner of Police in Edo, Funsho Adeboye, said invitations has been sent to the persons wanted for questioning. They are yet to show up. Briefing journalists in Benin City regarding the progress made so far in the investigation, he said they would be declared wanted if they fail to honor the invite. Enugu State Governor Peter Mba has accused a Finland-based Biafra agitator, Simon Ekpa, of murdering and terrorizing residents of Southeast. The governor, who received members of the House of Representatives Committee on National Security and Intelligence in Enugu, accused the Biafra agitator of being a scammer who has been feeding fat on the sufferings of Igbos. According to the governor, his administration has ended the illegal sit-at-home situation in the state and will remain determined to ensure the safety of all residents. He also called on young people in the Southeast not to yield to Mr. Ekpa's antics and vowed that the state government will not be intimidated by the agitator's threats. Ebonyi Independent Electoral Commission (EBSIEC) has declared that the All Progressives Congress (APC) swept all the available positions in Saturday's local council polls in the state. Chairman of the commission, Mr. Josie Eze, who announced the results in Abakaliki, said the party won all the 13 LG chairmanship and 171 ward councillorship seats. Eze said that 3 political parties, APC, the All Progressives Grand Alliance ABGA, and the Labour Party LP, participated in the polls. Federal government says the first National Agricultural Land Development Authority Institute of Agribusiness and Entrepreneurship would begin operations in September this year. Executive Secretary Nauda Paul Ikone, who disclosed this to journalists in Abuja, explained that the establishment of the institute is to support the growth and development of agribusiness in the country by transforming agriculture into a modern and appealing career path for the youths. The institute will be established in the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria. The first institute would commence activities in Abia State in the next 2 months. On the already established facility in Abia State, Ikone said the campus is fully equipped with facilities needed to build a formidable agribusiness school. According to him, the institute in Abia boasts of a completed 600 capacity student sports complex, 2 administrative blocks, libraries and laboratories, and a clinic, among others.
If we don't catch them young into agricultural production and agribusiness, Nigeria, we will lose farmers. We will lose people who have interest. So that's why we came up with now the Institute of Agribusiness and Entrepreneurship, from primary to secondary to OND level. So the school will sustain himself the way it's designed, because it has farm, it has poultry, it has fishery, it has animal husbandry sections, and has hall for training, for vocational training for people who want to come from outside, like 2-week certificate courses, 1 month and 3 month certificate courses.
Minister of Works, Engineer Wenze David Omahe, is stressing the need for street supervision of ongoing projects to deliver quality roads to Nigerians. The minister made the remark when he visited some of the federal government's ongoing road projects on the Abia axis of the Enugu-Port Harcourt Expressway, which Arab Contractors Nigeria Limited handles. Some of the federal road projects visited by the minister include the rehabilitation of Enugu-Port Harcourt Expressway Section 3, Enugu-Lokbanta, Enugu State, and the rehabilitation and reconstruction of Enugu-Port Harcourt Dual Carriageway Section 2, Umahata-Aba Township Rail Road Crossing in Abia State. At the China Civil Engineering Construction Cooperation section of the project, the minister directed that the section between the railway crossing and Aloji be modified as follows: 4 carriageways, just like the Arab section, instead of 2, a roundabout to be constructed at the intersection between Port Harcourt Road in Aba and Enugu-Port Harcourt Expressway. You're watching Enyimba TV News. After the short break, the news continues with foreign, business and sports updates. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back and thanks for staying tuned. Now the news continues. We begin with foreign. Joe Biden has dropped out of the U.S. presidential election and endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris as the Democratic Party's new nominee, in a stunning move that upends the 2024 race for the White House. The 81-year-old Biden stepped aside after weeks of pressure from Democrats following a disastrous debate performance, throwing the election battle against Republican Donald Trump into unprecedented turmoil. Biden said he would speak to the nation later this week in more detail about his decision. The Democratic Party is now plunged into chaos and needs to find a new candidate by November's election, with Vice President Kamala Harris the front runner. And on business, federal government will spend an average of 36 billion naira to convert 30,000 petrol or diesel-powered vehicles to start running on compressed natural gas in the next 90 days. The project director and chief executive officer of the Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative, Michael Oluwabemi, stated this during the Pack-to-Pack CNG mobilization program. The government said it had acquired 30,000 CNG conversion kits for distribution free of charge nationwide within the period. The kits and the conversion costs were valued at the rate of 1.2 million naira per vehicle, making a total of 36 billion naira within the next 3 months. The move is to ensure the adoption of CNG as an alternative fuel for transportation. And finally, on sports, with just 4 days to the commencement of the 2024 Paris Olympics, football enthusiasts are eagerly anticipating the women's football event that has seen some mouth-watering fixtures following some interesting draws. The Super Falcons will be returning to the Olympics to compete for the 4th time since they last played in this tournament in Beijing in 2008. Before that, they qualified twice for the Games in Sydney in 2000 and in the Athens Games in 2004, where they secured better results. The quarterfinal finished the best tournament showing recorded by an African nation to date. They successfully qualified for the event in Paris after brushing aside old foes South Africa 1-0 on aggregate following a scoreless draw in the final round of their qualification clash. The 11-time Women's Africa Cup of Nations champions are Africa's most successful women's football team. They remain the only women's national team from the Confederation of African Football to make a cut in the quarterfinals of the FIFA Women's World Cup and the Olympics. With a sports story, we wrap up this edition of news on Enyimba TV at this time. But before we go, here is a recap of the top stories. In the news, we told you, police inspector, 3 civilians, 2 gunmen die in an attack on police in Abia. We also told you that the federal government's Agribusiness Institute is set to commence in Abia State by September 2024. And we told you President Tinubu has said ECOWAS will continue to dialogue with Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger Republic to maintain unity. That's a package of news for now. Please join us for more updates in our subsequent bulletins. Meanwhile, don't forget to subscribe to this channel on YouTube. Click on the notification bell to receive alerts when new videos are uploaded. Thanks for watching. On behalf of the production team, I am Mary Ihejirika saying to have yourself an amazing day.